So, no, I wouldn't say I have a passion for HR.
Welcome back to Human Resources for the People. It's a human capital revolution.
Today we're going to be talking about whether or not a highly paid employee should still be paid hourly. And this is a really interesting thing that came out of the Supreme Court ruling just a couple days ago. And it says that the Supreme Court upheld the ruling that the overtime exemption does not cover a highly paid rig worker. And let's get into the background here. Here, the respondent, the employee, was named Michael Hewitt. He worked on an offshore oil rig for Helix Energy Solutions Group at a daily rate of $963. And that's very key, a daily rate of $963. During that time, he worked 12 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, and he was paid every other week for the days that he worked in a pay period and earned a little more than $200,000 a year. So he's making a good $7,000 a week, $14,000 every paycheck. A very strong paycheck here. So there are many different exemptions from the Fair Labor and Standards Act of 1938. You can see them as, for example, admin exemptions, professional and outside sales. There's also one called highly compensated, and it's an employee that makes more than $107,000, and it has to be paid on a salary or fee basis, and they have to be performing office or non-manual work, as well as doing exempt executive admin or professional work. So that's an exemption that this Helix company attempted to use in order to not pay this person under a salary, but under a daily rate. It was pretty clear when the Supreme Court came back. It was a 6-3 ruling in favor of upholding the U.S. Court of Appeals of the Fifth Circuit because he was not paid on a salary basis. This is really interesting because it sort of blows away the idea that it's a level court. In theory, if this was an activist court that simply wanted to rule within its nature, and in this particular court a conservative nature, you would think that it would simply ignore the rule of law and rule that way, as many previous ideological courts have done, but it did not do that. The Justice Roberts, as well as others, define that this is actually Justice Roberts, as well as Sonia Sotomayor, Clarence Thomas, John Roberts, Elena Kagan, Amy Coney Barrett, Angie Brown Jackson, all agreed that it's whether or not it's on a daily rate. And as a result, they found that indeed you do still have to pay on a daily rate. So to be clear here, the employer would have been fine had they paid them on salary. There would have been no problem had this employer paid them on salary. But since they decided to pay them on a daily basis, they were subject to the Fair Labor Standards Act, and they did not get the admin exemption. So what do you think about this? This is pretty interesting in my book. It's something a little bit unique, and something
What do you think about today's video? Please comment
down below.
Like, share, and subscribe.
And I'll see you on the next video.
Bye,
Bye, guys.